Okay, guys, I am so grateful to see everyone here on the live, and we are absolutely excited regarding this first class, this free webinar that we have going on called Sexual Qigong. And I want to go ahead and introduce Dr. Jazz Raymer here, so you guys know who this amazing person is that's going to guide you through this 1 hour training today. And for the acupuncturists that are here on the live, just to let you know that this is going to be available for CEU, continuing education credits in California. So if you want information for that, you can always reach out to us. Also visit ceuguru.com. That is ceuguru.com. So a little bit about Dr. Jazz Raymer. So she is a licensed acupuncturist, board certified herbalist. She has her doctorate in Oriental medicine. She is also a master Qigong instructor. She learned with Montauk Chia in 2005. And this is where this course, the teachings or the principles of this comes from. So she is an absolute asset when it comes to the information that you're going to learn today. In addition, she teaches courses on Qigong. So for you massage therapists and acupuncturists or holistic health practitioners, if you're interested in learning about her Qigong, which is the medical abdominal massage, you are absolutely welcome to message her at Dr. Jazz Acu, or you can get in touch with us at CEU Guru handle on Instagram, and we'll be happy to tell you about the certification course or how you can get in on her live, which is coming up in San Diego in March, and then her other live, which we are creating in April. So without further ado, here is Dr. Jazz Raymer. She has the seat for the next hour. And after that, stay tuned and we're going to have some more information on some free goodies. So Dr. Jazz, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Dilarm. I appreciate that introduction. My name is Dr. Jazz, as she mentioned, and I'll share a little bit more about me. But today we're going to learn about Sexual Qigong, right? So we're right in time for Valentine's Day. This is a really nice class to help kind of get you in tune with connecting with yourself, as well as being able to connect with a partner. We're going to talk about your sexual power, your sexual energy, and these are ancient practices that have been around for thousands of years. So I'm really excited to introduce this to you all. So just to reiterate a little bit about me, I grew up in the Midwest. I moved out here to San Diego to go to Pacific College of Oriental Medicine, where I have both the master's and the doctorate in Chinese medicine. I studied in Thailand with Master Montauk Chia to bring to you some of these Taoist practices that often aren't included in a lot of the Western knowledge and presentation of some of the Chinese medicine theories. So this is a very specialized niche modality that you guys are getting to learn today. I do specialize in Qigong, which also ties into some of the things that we're going to learn today. And of course, I teach different workshops and courses, both in person and online. So reach out if you have any more questions about that or would like me to teach in your area. So let's talk about what is healing love, or the sexual Qigong practice. Like I mentioned, it has origins in Asia, right? So it's been around for thousands of years, and it's been called many names and had different translations. It can be called sexual kung fu, which I'll talk about it later, healing love, sexual Qigong. There are many names for it, but it all means the same thing. It's designed to help strengthen and tone the pelvic floor and muscles, and used by Chinese concubines and consultants of emperors to help improve the health and sexual function. So when we think about these concepts, we think about a couple of different things. The first thing we think about is the sexual organs. They are considered the roots of life. They are connected to all the other glands and organs of the body, specifically the testicles, specifically the ovaries, right? They are where our DNA is stored and created and used to pass on our legacy and create life. And then we're going to talk about the sexual practice, right? It's any kind of practice. If you're a basketball player, you got to practice making hoops. If you're having sex, you need to practice to be good at it, to be able to cultivate that energy, right? And so, of course, you can just have sex and release out into the world, or you can be intentional with it. You can do these practices and you can use it to restore and heal your body. So think about it, that sexual energy is creative energy. You have the potential to create life inside your body. And that comes in hand in hand with the sexual energy and these practices. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So the key to the sexual practices is about transforming your sexual energy, right? So we're going to utilize these practices to use that sexual energy into this chi or energy that can provide this foundational experience for not only your creative force, but also it can heal your body, it can heal your heart, your mind, your organs, your spirituality, right? That sexual experience can be very profound for a lot of people. Some people may have already experienced that, or maybe you're here because you're curious about it, but there's a lot that we can do to help enhance those experiences and have a wonderful way of existing and living in our bodies using that creative force that our body is already creating. So we're going to talk about the pelvic floor anatomy, right? So the pelvic floor is a bunch of muscles that are at the base of the pelvic area. So let's dive in here. So the pelvic floor is really important because it is what is holding all of the organs, right? So if we look at these pictures, you can think of it as a hammock, right? At the base of the pelvis. It supports the organs. It helps control the retention and excretion through the lower end, meaning through the bowels, through urination. So oftentimes men and women tend to have urination issues, especially later on in life. And there are ways to prevent that by doing some of these sexual Qigong practices, right? So if you look at this bottom picture, you can see that all of the pelvic floor is connected to the bladder. It passes through there. The rectum passes through there. So of course, it's going to have issues if we're not acknowledging this pelvic floor muscle. And so it plays a role also in sexual pleasure and orgasms, right? So this is often an ignored part of the body. It's a taboo topic. People don't want to talk about it, but it's so important for our health as we age. And I really like this quote: may your coffee, pelvic floor, intuition, and self-appreciation be strong, right? So think about that. Any hammock you sat in before, sometimes it gets worn out and it can't hold things up, right? And you got to replace your hammock. Well, you can't replace your pelvic floor. So that's why these practices are really essential. So let's talk about what causes a weakening of the pelvic floor. The aging process could be one of the reasons, right? Just like anything else, as you age and you don't do strength training, right? That can help, or that can be one of the causes. Gravity and downward pressure. Think about that. It's actually a medical term called the Vasalvic pressure. When we're pushing down to poop, when we're pushing down to pee, or you're giving birth, right? That downward pressure over time can be disruptive to the tone of that pelvic floor. Same thing with getting overweight, right? All that gravity can put a force on those muscles that makes it difficult for them to keep that tone. Giving birth, I mentioned that, right? Well, it's a beautiful experience. That push to get that baby out can weaken that pelvic floor. And so a lot of women often have to do some form of rehab to get that strength back, to be able to have the tone in their pelvic floor. And so these practices are good to do before giving birth and after. And it doesn't matter how long it's been on either side. These are really great practices that can help strengthen that. And then trauma, of course, is another reason. The delivery of the baby sometimes can be traumatic. Sexual abuse, physical injury, right? Even emotional injury can help or can impact and weaken the pelvic floor. So these are great practices to help with that. So again, thinking about the pelvic floor as muscles, it's important to exercise them for optimal health and function, right? So you can't just go to the gym once and lift weights and be buff and be strong and have the tone that you want, right? It's a practice that you need to do continuously. And so there's a whole variety of practices that I'm going to get into, but just remember that it doesn't have to be a long time. You can do these practices while you're driving your car, while you're sitting at a stoplight, while you're drinking your coffee in the morning. It doesn't have to be this extended thing. It can be something simple that you can do and just integrate into your life. So let's talk about some of the common forms of exercising the pelvic floor for women. Kegels is the most common one. This is a basic exercise that can prevent and control urinary incontinence, other pelvic floor issues. It strengthens the pelvic floor, and it can support the uterus, the bladder, the small intestine, the rectum. And then some of the advanced practices are the vaginal weightlifting. You may have heard about this. It's similar to Kegels, but it's advanced because there's different shaped balls you can see from the picture there with different weights that can help you strengthen your pelvic floor. And then this also stems from the jade egg practice. This is a practice that I mentioned that has been around for thousands of years by those concubines, right? So they were really focused on having great sexual pleasure, being able to have the emperor have many children, right? And so they needed to control their sexual energy. And so one of the practices that they created was the jade egg. It's a literal egg made of jade that gets inserted into the vagina, and you press your pelvic floor muscles against it. And it uses that to strengthen it. And so that's the upcoming class that I'll be teaching, or that's, excuse me, online that I've already taught, that you can watch, where I actually go into the jade egg practices specifically. And you can learn how to do that at home. Here in California, they call it the yoni egg. Same thing. It's an egg that you use inside of your body to help strengthen that pelvic floor. And for men, similarly, there's Kegels as well, different basic exercises, once again, that can control the urinary incontinence, fecal incontinence, other pelvic floor issues. This can address the prostate as well. Same thing, there's weightlifting where you can lift and squeeze objects that can help strengthen your pelvic floor. And this male practice is about resistance training. Yeah. So again, just like going to the gym and lifting weights, you can do that with your pelvic floor. And then we want to stimulate the pelvic floor. So often those prostate issues, which I have a lot of male patients that come to me looking for different processes to be able to strengthen their pelvic floor, relieve some of those prostate issues. These are some specific tools that I'll be teaching in the male class upcoming, where we talk about using breath, using different tools to help with the prostate issues, because it's a very common thing for men over the age of 50. And so how do you know if your pelvic floor is weak, right? If it's a part of your body that you're not aware of or connected to, here are some of the common things that people find that let you know that it's weak. So commonly in women, right? If you sneeze and a little bit of pee comes out, you jump, you laugh, cough, even exercising, that means that you have a weak pelvic floor, right? You probably see commercials on TV for maxi pads or something to catch that leaky incontinence. Well, you know, it's unfortunate that it's that common that there's commercials on TV for it, right? It's not normal. It is not normal, but it's common, right? Because we don't talk about your pelvic floor. So that's why it's really important to do these exercises and share that knowledge with everybody that you may know that might be suffering from this. For men, a common indication is frequent urination, constipation, incontinence, decreased sexual function, right? So we don't have time for this. I mean, it's not really fun to experience these things or even to talk about, but if you want to have that health, this is a really important thing to address and acknowledge that's happening in your body. So why would we do these pelvic floor exercises? Well, as I've been talking, to strengthen your pelvic floor, heal the symptoms of dysfunction. You can enhance the efficacy of these Kegel exercises, right? And that's the Western medicine version of it. We can increase sexual pleasure. That's why we're all here today, right? By strengthening your pelvic floor, you bring more flow and chi and circulation to that area, and it can enhance that sexual pleasure. You can energize your body by utilizing this chi within your body. I'm going to get into in a little bit. And you can keep the sexual energy inside your body. What does that mean? So oftentimes when we have orgasm, you release it out into the world, right? But this teaches you to collect that, to cultivate it, to bring it into your body and have that orgasmic energy inside of you. What does that mean? We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then, of course, we can stimulate reflexology points. Guess what? There are reflexology points inside our genitals. Where? Let's take a look at this genital reflexology picture. There are different zones in our genitals where we can specifically heal organs by stimulating the reflexology. So many of you are probably familiar with foot reflexology, right? There's different points on the bottoms of the feet that represent different organs. So what would you do? You'd massage them with your fingers. Well, you can massage the penis with your fingers in specific areas. Same thing with the vagina, or you can use a penis to massage the vagina, right? Or if you're LGBTQ, right, there's different tools that can be used. There are different ways to stimulate different parts of the body. If you have more questions about that, I'm not going to get into that detail here, but you can kind of take a look for yourself how different parts of the genitals can be stimulated in different ways and heal those organs, right? So think about, let's look for example, if you have liver issues, you're having trouble detoxing, look where you can massage on the penis, look where you can massage on the vagina, right? So we can use these concepts of reflexology inside our genitals. Not only will it feel pleasurable, but we can do this, what we call this healing love to our bodies using this reflexology concept. So it's really interesting that women, 1 out of 3 women have some pelvic floor disorder. That's a lot of women. And then men just don't report it. So it's hard to say, but probably more men than are acknowledged are experiencing pelvic floor dysfunction. So let's talk about how these exercises can benefit each gender, right? So women in general, this weightlifting can redevelop that tone, strengthen the pelvic floor, relieve different types of pain, dryness, increase that pleasure during intercourse. It can be extremely helpful for menopausal women, right? It can help them increase lubrication, regulate hormones, decrease incontinence. And like I mentioned earlier, for pregnancy and postpartum, this can help with the tone for not only giving birth and easing labor, but also a solid foundation for afterward. And then how can this help men? Well, men can improve their urinary function, their elimination, their quality of life. Talk to any man who has trouble urinating or it wakes him up in the middle of the night. It's miserable. And so these practices can help relieve some of those symptoms. Also for men in aging, right? Bringing that awareness to the pelvic floor can change the outcome of some of those ailments that come with aging, like having a hernia, sexual function, those urogenital issues that might arise, and prostate health, right? I want to do a whole class just on prostate health. Because the awareness of the prostate is imperative for aging gracefully, for experiencing a good quality of life. And you can avoid those issues of the prostate gland by doing these practices, by getting circulation. It was actually brought up that the New York Times magazine had an article about more ejaculation decreases prostate issues. So that's a whole nother topic that I want to dive into in another class. So are these practices dangerous? I get that question a lot. And I think that the answer is, are you educated, right? These are precious teachings from ancient cultures, and you should have a professional instructor. You know, that's kind of the dangerous about the internet, right? Because it's all over the internet. You can look stuff up, but are they giving you the proper instruction, or is it someone that just took some information and put it together, right? So that would be my suggestion, is make sure that you have someone that is specialized in this, teaching these practices, right? So improper instruction is often how people hurt themselves if you don't do the practice properly, or you use these tools improperly, right? Those can be some of the reasons why it is dangerous and people do hurt themselves. So I highly recommend having a live teacher or a living teacher, I guess is what they call it, and going to those appropriate resources for it. So when you do this pelvic floor sexual qigong, you want to make sure, one, that you're educated, like we talked about, do these specific practices, and you can practice 20 to an hour, 20 minutes to 1 hour a day if you want. I do think that sometimes some of these practices, especially at the beginning, maybe the more advanced ones, you'll take a bit longer, but these, the ones that I'm going to show you today don't have to take very long at all. So now I'm going to introduce a little bit more about the healing love, the sexual kung fu, this Taoist sexual Qigong. Now we're going to dive into some of the theory behind it all. So we're going to be working with different types of Qigong. We have medical Qigong, which are practices that are used specifically to heal the body. You've probably heard of martial arts, right? That's a type of Qigong. It's the fighting, it's self-defense, discipline. And then we have spiritual Qigong, which can be used to connect with oneself, nature, and the Tao. And what we're doing today, this is medical Qigong. So what is Qigong? Qi means energy and Gong means work. We are doing energy work. Any type of exercise can be called Qigong as energy work. And I just noted that these are some different spellings that you might see out in the world, and they all mean the same thing. It just depends on who translated it and how they spelled it. So what is Qi? Qi is about programming the body. It is everywhere. It's in everything. It has many shapes and forms, just like water changes forms. Every action or non-action affects our bodies, and we can create that change in our bodies by what we put in it, meaning food, air, thoughts, and what we do with it, right? Are you breathing? Are you pooping? Are you talking? Are you sharing? Are you releasing your emotions, right? All of that plays a role. And Qi, this is what's important, is neutral. And when we set our intention, it will follow the instructions that we give it. So there are two key concepts thinking about that Qi being neutral. Qi is the energy that we have. It's neutral in our bodies, and sexual energy magnifies that energy. So it's going to magnify our emotions. And we're going to talk about emotions in a minute here, because sexual energy is neutral. So that means that that neutral energy, when we set an intention, will be magnified by what we use with it. And so we're going to get into the specifics of it. So these, what I'm sharing with you are ancient Taoist secrets, right? Most of this was not included in textbooks. They did not include how to channel your energy. And that's why this can be dangerous, because of how this can magnify the energy. And so harnessing the energy was only taught verbally to the emperor and a select few of people, and it was never allowed to be put into writing until recently. So we're learning some ancient secrets, which is pretty cool. And let's talk about, but before we get into it, let's talk about how we can lose our Qi so we know how to keep our Qi in our body. And this is the secret. So we lose our energy. Men lose it in ejaculation, women lose it in menstruation, but both lose it in emotions. So let's dive in. So women lose their Qi every single month, right? We have the potential to create life in the egg that's in our ovaries every single month. We call that the Jing, or the essence. Or our DNA, as we call it in Western medicine, right, is in every single egg. And when we're not procreating, this Qi or energy that we have in every single egg, what happens? It gets bled out every single month. But what these practices do is they teach you to keep the egg and put it back inside of our body to heal your body with that energy that is the potential for life. And for men, ejaculation, right? This is one of the most depleting things that men can experience, is the loss of seminal fluid. Think about what happens after a man ejaculates. He'll probably turn over and fall asleep or pass out, or he's really tired, right? Because that is his essence that he is losing when he ejaculates, right? Because an ejaculate has millions of sperm. There is enough sperm in every ejaculation to populate the entire world. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of potential for life, right? So no wonder men get tired. So what this practice teaches men is to separate orgasm from ejaculation, to be able to keep all that sperm inside the body, reabsorb it, and keep that energy to energize the body. And like we saw earlier, that emotional expenditures are that other 50%. We are dealing with negative emotions all day long, right? So we're not thinking about sex. We're probably doing something that's related to some kind of emotion. You're stressed about work, about relationships, about family, about interactions, right? How about that negative self-talk, that inner narration that's going on, right? You have toxic people in your life, stress from your social environment, whether it's work or home or school, right? That emotional expenditure can be extremely depleting, and that can deplete that life force energy throughout the day. So how do we dispose of this negative energy and maintain our health? We keep our chi, right? So we're going to learn some of the techniques. And these are the key concepts is we're going to keep our chi by managing our emotions and controlling our sexual energy. For men, you're going to control the ejaculation, and for women, you're going to control menstruation. So here are the first level of practices, just to get a little bit of an overview, to condense and conserve that life force energy. We need to prepare our bodies to work with that sexual energy. And here are some of the basic practices. We're not going to do all of them today, but in my upcoming classes, I dive into all of these. So the first is the inner smile and 6 healing sounds. This is a practice where we create positive energy with our emotions, right? We're going to process those emotions and come to a place of neutrality with our emotions, because remember, I said earlier that we can magnify our emotions with the sexual energy. So you want to make sure that that magnification is going to be working with positive energy, not negative energy, right? You don't want to have anger be magnified in your body. So we're going to work with that today. Another advanced practice is microcosmic orbit, where we learn to circulate that sexual energy through our body. Iron shirt Qigong is where we get to learn how to get it to flow through our body to all of our limbs. And then the healing love, the sexual Qigong, we're going to touch on base on that today. And that's where we collect the sexual energy and use it as a source of power in our bodies. So first, let's do a little bit of meditation. So this is called the Inner Smile and 6 Healing Sounds. I have the full meditation online, and we're just going to do a brief overview of it. So as you can see, each organ has a paired organ, and it also has an element related to it. It has an animal related to it, a sound related to it. We have the positive and negative emotions related to each of these organs. And so we're just going to do a quick little visualization. So if you bear with me here, I'm going to explain all of this as we just relax and breathe and connect with ourselves. And this is going to help prepare us for the sexual kung fu that I'm going to teach in a few minutes. So if you don't mind, everyone just feel comfortable in your chair, shift your seat, put your feet on the floor, and I'm just going to have you close your eyes for a few minutes. And we're going to connect to our emotions. We're going to bring the positive emotions into our body, and we're going to exhale and eliminate the negative emotions from our body. So let's begin by just closing your eyes, putting a gentle smile on your face, and bring your awareness to your third eye, to your mid-eyebrow point. This is your third eye, and we're going to look inward and downward and connect to our beautiful red hearts. We're going to smile to our hearts, and we're going to feel it fill with love, joy, and compassion. Smile to your heart as you feel it full, filling with those positive emotions of love, joy, and compassion. And breathe. Now we're going to connect to the left side of the body, to your stomach, spleen, and pancreas. We're going to smile to these organs and see them fill with openness, fairness, and trust. And now we're going to bring our awareness to the lungs, which are paired with the large intestine. Smile to the lungs and see them filled with courage and righteousness. The courage to speak your truth and the righteousness to stand by your conviction. And bring your awareness down to your kidneys and your bladder. Smile to these organs as you feel them fill with gentleness, peace, and calm. And next, we bring our awareness to the liver and gallbladder as you see them filled with kindness, generosity, and forgiveness. And coming back to that third eye, to that mid eyebrow point. Bring a smile to your face as you feel all of the organs now filled, connected with positive emotions. Slowly open your eyes and come back to the room and just notice how that feels. Do you notice any change in your body, even if it's just a little shift? You're feeling more connected with yourself and your emotions. This is how we prepare the body to now move and connect with our sexual energy. We'd rather come from a place of positivity to then move this sexual energy through our bodies. Good. So now this is just a summary of the basics. We just did the inner smile. The 6 healing sounds adds breathing, sounding, more visualization to clear out the negative energies. And we want to come to this place of balance. Like I mentioned before, then we do the microcosmic orbit, which circulates that energy through the body to refine it and give it some place to go. And the iron shirt is about grounding these techniques, the ability to squeeze our tendons and strengthen our bones for structure to send that energy through our bodies. But now we're going to dive into the sexual kung fu, what everyone's been waiting for. So this is a quote from Master Chia. Now that the organs have been cleansed, are healthy, we have developed the ability to transfer and transform sexual energy into life force energy. Now your spiritual development can begin. So what is sexual kung fu? We talked about how it means it is a discipline or intensive work. It is a practice. Kung fu implies an expression of power and control and the ability to take control and command of your body and your sexual life. This practice transforms sexual energy into the qi that can be a foundation for the spiritual practices. We can transform that sexual energy and qi into shen, into our minds, which is pure spiritual energy. So we're going to go over 5 basic practice techniques, okay? So we're going to connect to our emotions, which we already did. We did the inner smile meditations to clean up your emotions, to magnify positive energy. Next, we're going to connect to our organs. We're going to stimulate and wake them up. We're going to connect to our kidneys and our ovaries and testicles to wake up those organs as well. We're going to do some brief pelvic floor exercises, just a little introduction, and then we're going to store that qi in their dantian, okay? And I have this full meditation online as well. So just to show you what the advanced practice looks like, we add in abdominal breathing, we do the qi self-massage, the jade egg or weightlifting for men, we do ovarian and testicle breathing, which is an advanced practice. We bring in the microcosmic orbit, and again, we collect at the dantian, right? So this is an advanced practice that they say to do for 100 days to transform your body. It's really exciting if you can get to 100 days of doing this practice. And this meditation, again, is online. But today we're just going to keep to the 5 basic techniques. So first we talked about the inner smile and 6 healing sounds. We talked about the positive emotions related to each of these. And in the future practices, we exhale the negative emotions to bring balance to our bodies. So now we're going to do the next part, we're going to massage our bellies. You can see from the little video right here. You're going to do a 1 to 2 minute massage where you put one hand over the other. You can do this with me now. And you're just massaging in a circle. You can see you can make the left side, so you know to do clockwise. We're going in the direction of digestion. So that's it. Hand over hand, massaging your belly clockwise. We're connecting to our bodies. We're waking up the organs. We're waking up the sexual energy, because this massage creates that circulation in the abdomen. It stimulates digestion. It moves the lymphatic system, which is tied to immunity. So doing these practices can boost your immune system, general health, your general function, right? So this is a great way that you can help your body heal. So if you walk away with anything today, it's this massage where you could just massage your belly in a clockwise motion, 1 to 2 minutes. We smile to our organs, we connect to our bodies, we're stimulating the nervous system, and this is help regulating digestion as well. So we're waking up that sexual energy, because where's the sexual energy? At the bowl of the pelvis, right? So we want to wake those up. Now we want to do the kidney massage. So we have 2 kidneys, one on either side of the body. Why is this important? Because our kidneys in Chinese medicine are where we store our jing, or our essence, or your DNA. Excuse me. So we need to wake up our kidneys to be able to get the sexual energy moving and circulating. So we're going to put our hands on our back, right? So you're going to put it on the back and you're going to massage your kidneys. So in this picture, you can see that they're in the front, but if you can visualize where the kidneys are on your back, that's where I want you to massage. So we're going to massage in circles. It's your low back, right? How many people feel tight in here? How many people feel a little tension? You wake up stiff, right? So that can affect the kidneys. So you want to make sure that you wake them up and stimulate them. So the kidneys are important for manifesting that sexual energy. Like I mentioned, they store the jing, or the essence, and we can stimulate them by massaging your kidneys in a circle. So if you're ever sitting at a desk all day long, or you're standing a lot, stimulate your kidneys, put a heat pad on your kidneys, right? This can help and wake up that sexual energy. We can also tap on them too. If you make a loose fist, we're going to tap on the kidneys. That's another way that you can wake up and stimulate the kidneys. So we want this sexual energy to be moving. We want it to be awake, right? Sometimes you need to do a little bit of stretching before you can do a full workout. You got to think of it like that, right? So we're stimulating the kidneys, we're stimulating the organs, and we're creating a connection between these parts of our body. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to do massaging the testicles and the ovaries. So up to you if you're in a place that this is appropriate to do. What we're going to do is very similar. If you can see from the pictures, we're going to massage down to the ovaries. Where are the ovaries located? If you put your hands together like this and put your thumbs in your belly button and your fingers in a triangle, where the pinkies land on your belly, that is where the ovaries are. For men, I don't think I need to explain to you where your testicles are, but you can massage your testicles and your belly, right? So we're going to be massaging down to the hip bones, into that inguinal crease, into that lower pelvic region, right? So we want to make sure that the organs get stimulated and woken up. And so we also can come up to the liver and down to the ovaries and testicles. Up to the liver. Your liver is over here under the right side of the body, under the rib cage. And then you can massage all the way down to your hip bones, right? So we want to make sure that we are massaging not only the liver and the organs, but also your ovaries and testicles. This is going to stimulate them and wake them up. We don't want full arousal energy. We want a gentle arousal. We just want to wake it up, because gentle arousal energy is way easier to move than full arousal energy, right? So we're just creating a connection to this parts of our body. How many people have massaged themselves this way before? Probably not very many people, right? So we want to be kind to ourselves. We want to connect. And we do this with this very nice, gentle massage. And so why are we going up to the liver? Because it's in charge of detoxifying the body. It plays a role in processing emotions. And so when we stimulate the ovaries and testicles, we can wake up that sexual energy for healing our body. Nice. Okay, so we have now connected to our organs, to our kidneys, and to our testicles and ovaries. So just notice, take a moment and take a breath and feel if there's a little bit of stimulation, maybe just a little bit of movement or circulation happening that wasn't happening before, right? That is that gentle arousal energy. And so now the next part is to engage the pelvic floor. We are waking up that sexual energy to energize our bodies. We've cleared our emotions, we've connected to our organs, and now we're going to connect to the pelvic floor. So we're going to lift up on the pelvic floor. So you're going to inhale and squeeze, and then exhale and relax. Squeeze and relax. So let's talk about the technique here now. Pelvic floor training is not about strength, but about proper technique, right? So we are squeezing the pelvic floor like butterfly wings. I didn't know there was sound to that. So like butterfly wings. So we're going to squeeze the genitals, the anus, and like butterfly wings, right? So for men, you're squeezing the pelvic floor right at the base of the penis and the anus. And for women, you're squeezing your vagina and your anus together, right? So the important thing is the perineum, right? The perineum, or the taint, right? That is the part between the genitals and the anus. So we want to squeeze all three of those areas of the body like butterfly wings. We're not cutting off a garden hose, okay? We don't want it to be that strong, but just butterfly wings. And when we do that squeezing, right, you can feel things are being stimulated. So again, it's a squeeze and release. Now, why are we doing this? So when the pelvic floor and all that diaphragmatic pressure happens, sometimes that pressure can loosen it and things can come out. Remember we talked about that earlier, where you can have incontinence, you can have a little pee come out when you urinate, fecal incontinence, right? It can feel really weak. Sometimes there could be even prolapse, hemorrhoids, hernias. We don't want any of that to happen. So this gentle squeezing can keep that in. When you have a strong pelvic floor, it creates a seal. Think about it. We got holes at the end of our pelvic floor and things are constantly leaving through that. And we don't want it to leak out. So we're plugging it up, if you can think about it that way, right? We're not inserting anything to plug it up, but we're strengthening the tone to keep that chi inside of our body. And that's the purpose of the jade egg. That's the purpose of the male weightlifting, is to prevent the leakage of that sexual energy and keep it inside of our bodies, right? So that's the big aha moment for this class. So let's do that again. We're going to inhale, squeeze the genitals, perineum, and anus, and exhale, relax. Inhale and exhale. Let's do it a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. I hope you're all doing this with me. Again, inhale like butterfly wings, and exhale, relax. And just notice, is there any difference in your body? Continue to inhale and exhale. Are you feeling a little warmer? Are you noticing any changes? Exhale. Do you notice a shift happening in your body as you do these practices? Pay attention for the rest of the day. Are you in a better mood? Are your hormones shifted? Is your mood lifted? Are your emotions feeling more balanced? Do you feel a little bit more aroused throughout the day? What are you going to do about it, right? So this is a really nice brief practice you can do. So let's inhale a few more times. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Relax. And so now that we've done the practice for a few minutes, let's rest in what the Taoists call Wu Qi. It's similar to Savasana and yoga practices, where we just relax and let the meditation do its work. And we do that by putting one hand over the other, over your navel, what we call the Dan Tian. And we just close our eyes and connect to our bodies and observe how different we feel in this moment than when we first began this meditation. So close your eyes and breathe. One hand over the other, over your navel. And know that there's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing to do, but be in this moment, right here, right now. Good. And slowly come back to the room. Open your eyes. Smile to your body. And just notice if there's any shifts in your body from this practice. Do you feel a little change in your body? A little circulation moving around? Do you feel clearer, more energized? Or do you feel like you want to take a nap? Any of those sensations are good sensations because it is your body communicating with you. So that is the 5 basic practices of the sexual Qigong. You can do this 1 to 2 times a day. You can do it every day. And if you want to learn the next level of practice that is in the pelvic floor health, that is already online for women. And at the end of the month, we will have one online for men. So a final quote here is, knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. I hope you learned a lot today and that you'll take some of these practices with you. And I would love any feedback that you have about what you learned today. Here are a few resources that I like to share. These are all Master Chia books for females. Healing Love Through the Tao. This is where a lot of these practices that you learned today are based off of. For men, Cultivating the Male Sexual Energy is one of his more common books that men use to learn. The Multi-Orgasmic Couple is actually a great book to start because you can learn about both the male and the female practices. And I feel like this is a lot simpler for beginners who are looking to learn some of these practices and to share with a partner. And then if you're looking for more Taoist stuff, Healing Light of the Tao is a great book to start that just introduces you to all of these concepts. So those are some great resources that I highly recommend. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can go to my website, jazzhandsmassageandacu.com. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook. And then today is provided by ceuguru.com. So you can find this class. This will be a recording that you can find online. I believe we're going to have it free till the end of the month, and then it will be a paid CEU after that. And that is all I have for you today. Please reach out with any questions or any thoughts or any feedback you have on today's class. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate all of you. And I will hand it back to Dilaram for some final thoughts. Oops, you're on silent. Oops, there you go.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone who have joined in on this free webinar, Sexual Qigong. Thank you so much, Dr. Jazz, for taking the time to explain these practices. And this is hosted and put on by ceuguru.com. So this is a website where you can explore our growing library on various classes, whether it is spiritual, medical, Eastern medicine, functional medicine. We're even going to have chiropractic classes on there. We're going to have courses on yoga nidra, on breath work. All sorts of holistic practices are available on this course, both for the public. So if you are a wellness professional and you want to direct your patients to watch a course that will be beneficial for them and help support them in their self-care journey, let them know. They can come learn it from the experts. Also, if you are a practitioner and you're looking to get CEUs, continuing education credits, and you want to feed your soul while you are learning, if this is courses that inspire you and that you want to, you know, put into your own practice, because a lot of us practitioners, we need our own practice for keeping us available and present for our patients. And that's what Sexual Qigong course is. Also, that's what CEU Guru provides. At the right now, we have a course that's posted online live. It's not live, but it's on the course right now that you could purchase. It's Pelvic Floor Health Jade Egg Practice. So you learned a little bit about the Jade Egg practice and kind of the principles behind cultivating qi, and especially cultivating sexual qi. That course goes in depth, and that course is focused for, it could be for men and women, but primarily women. But at the end of this month, we're going to have a course exclusively for men, teaching men how to cultivate their sexual qi, and again with these principles with Montauk Chia. Dr. Jazz, do you want to just take a little bit of time kind of explaining that course and the reason for us putting it kind of in this month and so forth? So yeah.
Yes, so the pelvic floor is important for both men and women. I have the women's course with the Jade Egg, and men, I have many male patients that are looking for information about how to strengthen their pelvic floor, how to manage bladder issues. It's a really common thing, surprisingly, that a lot of men suffer from and don't really get the help and support in Western medicine. Often they just want to medicate or do surgeries, but some of these practices can prevent some of those things and also have men heal from those things as well. So it's going to focus on prostate health. We're going to work with different practices that they can do on their own at home to help relieve some of those symptoms. I have great resources of other types of healing that can be done. There's different practitioners that have, other types of healing practices and techniques that are going to be integrated into this class to hopefully be able to give men that the solution to some of those discomfort things that happen at their pelvic floor that they don't really often have the answers for. So it's important that both men and women have these resources so they can have a better quality of life, not only for daily functions like urination or elimination, but also for their sexual health, because we should all be able to enjoy the pleasures of life. And that's what these practices are all about. So we chose this month because it's Valentine's Day, of course. And so that's why we want to offer the male class at the end of the month, do the female class now, and hopefully give a little teaser with this free webinar that was the introduction for all of that today. So looking forward to sharing all of that with all of you.
Yeah, I think that is going to be an amazing course. I know that you had shared that there was such a huge demand when you taught the couples massage a couple months ago. And I wanted to kind of end this webinar saying, please follow us on YouTube. You can find us with CEU Guru, so you can subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see all the free webinars that are posted on there, or any of the live events that we're going to be creating both in San Diego and in Orange County. So it's going to be available for LA, Orange County, Riverside, and San Diego for all these live courses. Also, go ahead and follow our Instagram at CEU Guru. We would love to see you on there. We're going to post some beautiful content regarding different practices like gua sha and chin song and so forth. You can also get onto ceuguru.com, and when you get on there, you will see our growing library of resources, both resources and courses that you can get continuing education credits with. And you can find us on all the social media outlets, Twitter. We're not on TikTok yet, soon to be. And if you are a practitioner, if you are an acupuncturist, if you're a chiropractor, if you are a holistic health practitioner, a coach, or even if you're in the financial industry, we are looking for experts that want to teach courses on our CEU Guru platform. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can you'll find our contact information on our website, and you can also contact us on our Instagram via an instant message or a DM. So thank you again, hosted by ceuguru.com. And we are looking forward to seeing you every Friday at 9 a.m. for our free webinar series, and also our continuing educations that you're just gonna, have an abundance of every Friday. So there you go. Thank you, Jazz, and thank you for everyone joining. We will see you next Friday.
Thank you, Dilarm. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks again.